Hey guys, Lowell at TechFix here, and I am in the studio today with
Steve Neiffer.
Steve Neiffer, and he and I are going to talk about technicians aging out. We're talking about, I guess you would say the aging of our industry. Some might say the fleecing of our industry in some ways, but we're going to talk today about how are we going to backfill these spots with young technicians who are knowledgeable, who can take over from where we're leaving off. Steve, you are a shop owner. Tell us a little bit about where your shop is and what you do.
Well, my shop is located in Havre, Montana, and I've been there for 38 years. We've transitioned from a transmission shop only into transmission and general repair. So we have two different buildings, 7 bays, and we have a couple older technicians, so it's kind of something I'm going to have to deal with here really pretty soon, and myself included.
Along those lines, so, maybe this is a little bit soon to bring this up in the conversation, but I've known you and your son for going on 5 years now, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
In fact, Steve and Garrett and I I coached their business for a long time, and now we work together here at TechFix. Steve is also one of our instructors, and you've been an instructor before at the local college and schools and stuff like that as well. So,
correct.
Very knowledgeable person, which is primarily why we've asked him to come and join our team here at TechFix as an instructor. But you're in a unique situation where, maybe it's not so unique, but you're in a situation where two things come to mind when we're talking about let's say and I'll just call it as it is, the old versus the new. Your son, I'm guessing, Garrett, at some point will probably take over the business, and you'll kind of exit out, as your older technicians will as well.
Right.
And you also, and I'm going to bring this up, you're probably going to kill me. You're also in this place of transition where, like, you have such a remarkable location in the fact that you have a car wash near your location. That how many cars a week do you think go through there?
Oh, hundreds and hundreds of cars go through there. It's
300-400 steady stream of cars. And I always give Steve a bunch of crap about this because they come out of the car wash and they're staring directly at his transmission shop. Okay, so I think that we're starting to see that his older technicians are doing a lot of. They're both doing transmissions, correct?
My older ones are both
You're both doing transmissions.
They're the old guys, yep.
So if you look at this like holistically through time, as an industry, we don't build a lot of transmissions anymore.
No.
Right? And I have my thoughts on why we don't do that, but I want to hear your thoughts on why we don't do that.
I think we don't do that because, for one, we can't find the builders. I think that can be a problem. I think the liability for the shop, and you got to stock a bunch of parts depending on where you're located. And so there's just a lot of technicality to it, and you can buy units for sometimes less than you can build them for. And so there's just been a lot of change in the transmission world. If we lost our builder, we would just buy units. We wouldn't rehire a builder. So I think that's where we would be. Yeah,
so you're at this point, again, kind of the old school, because I know for me as a shop owner, I build transmissions too, and in fact I've owned a transmission shop. For me, it's a lot of liability, like Steve said, like you said. Now it's an 8-hour R&R job on this transmission. So I pull it, I build it, I put it back in, and I have something wrong. I got something that air checked properly on the bench, but now I got a piston that's not engaging. It's binding. Something's happening in there in that transmission. Now I got to pull it all out again. I got to go all through it again. And now not only am I losing money on the job, I'm losing production time that I could be working on something else. And when you can pay somebody, let's say, there's so many transmission companies out there. Like you pay somebody like Jasper, who's going to cover your warranty if something like that happens. Then and it's warranted from coast to coast. I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer, right?
Right.
Yep. So, if you look at that, the new people who are coming up, new technicians who are coming up, that's probably the angle that they're going to run, right? You said if you lose one of your builders, you're going to buy units. Yep. So that's a really clear contrast right now. So like you're kind of like this conversation personified, right? You're on the precipice of this. So, and you and I have been in this industry for a long time, and I'm seeing and I'm talking to a lot of technicians, talking to a lot of foremen and a lot of owners who are in this situation where they have technicians who are aging out. Like me, I can't go back to flat rate. I mean, with all the parts they keep replacing on me, like hips and stuff, like there's no way I can go back and bang out 40 hours a week. I might be able to do it 1 week, but the second week I'm probably not gonna show up on Monday, is what I'm saying. So we have a lot of technicians who we've now tested, and we know that there's a lot of basics that they don't have the foundation for learning for, so they don't understand the basics of those systems. And we know that it's very complex and things are changing all the time on vehicles that we're working on. Where do you see us, how do you see us being successful covering this gap?
So I think your processes of your shop are really important. I think you have to make it so you can plug somebody in. You're not so dependent upon their skill. I think that's one thing, because if you're dependent upon that skill and you don't have good processes, they're hard to replace. So I think that's a super important area to make sure your shop runs smoothly and has good processes of how you inspect cars, how you diagnose cars, how you do that. And so you can plug somebody in that's a lower tech and they can learn your systems and learn those things. I also think, and we just talked about it in class there, about training program. I think we have to build our own techs. I think we're going to have to take those, maybe a lube tech from somewhere that has a lot of drive, and work them and promote them and teach them the things that they need to know. And so I think you maybe have to, as a shop owner, limit the weird stuff you let in your shop. Because if you let crazy stuff in your shop, I don't care what technician it is, they're not going to like that. So I think being a little pickier on what kind of stuff ends up in our bays. So those are just a few things that I can think of right offhand. That
I think you're absolutely right. So something that you mentioned reminded me of a conversation that I had with a shop owner. And I think as shop owners and managers, we have to stop thinking that technicians are going to show up to us educated and ready to go. We have to foster that environment within our shop, because it's just like waiting for, if you have 5/8, it's like waiting for 5/8 techs to show up. It's not going to happen. It's not happening now.
Yeah.
The technicians are aging out. So on the job training, focusing around culture, focusing around what skills they do have, and then what skills can we build, I think is very important for sure. I think it's a great place to land, Steve. I think, where do we find the crosshairs of the technician or the person who wants to be a technician, and then how do we treat them in our industry? I think it's a huge conversation, man. There's a lot to have there, but I think we're peeling back the layers of the onion.
Yep.
And I want to thank you for coming in today, and hopefully we get to do this more and more as you come to town more often.
a lot of fun. First time I've ever done it. So
Awesome. Again, I'm Lowell Green, and this is
Steven Neiffer.
And you fix the cars, you fix the shop.